What is up? I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. This is Blinkers Off. What's up, man?
What's up, man? I love the background. That could easily be the best thing I saw today, right there. The background. I love it, man. Zenyatta.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that Apple Blossom, right? It's and of course back then it was when they had it the day before, kind of like an Oaks Derby type situation. So we were there for the Arkansas Derby, but everyone was really there for Zenyatta that year. So that's the story of when I knew I was a real horse racing fan, because I knew I had to be there. And you'd already had tickets with you and your dad and got reservations, hotel reservations, and people that are from Hot Springs. I mean, I don't even know. Like, of course, we haven't been there in 2 years now. You were there. Is the Velda Rose still up?
Velda Rose is standing. That's about all. It's close, it looks like a demolition zone, but it is still there. Yeah, it's still there.
It was almost demolition zone when I stayed there, and I didn't care, because it was like I stayed anywhere I could. Pretty sure it was haunted. I slept on top of the sheets. I was just happy to be alive. But hey, I was like, I'm coming to Hot Springs. I cannot miss Zenyatta and the Apple Blossom. So yeah, that's when you know that you're a big horse racing fan when you risk your life literally to see a horse, a certain horse. So yeah, Apple Blossom. It's a big weekend. Obviously, the way they do it now with back-to-back weekends, Arkansas Derby, and then of course this weekend with the Apple Blossom. So what are your thoughts, man?
On the Apple Blossom, I think it's going to be an absolute showdown.
I mean we got an absolute throwdown. I mean, this is going to be great.
This is going to be the matchup of the year so far in a 6-horse field, Hot Springs, Arkansas, on Saturday, April 17th, a week after the Arkansas Derby. Yeah, I mean, you got Swiss versus Monomoy. That's what everybody wants to see. So yeah, I mean, I am extremely excited for that. I mean, that's, like I said, that is the race of the year so far in my book. So going to be a good one. And you got a great card, and you got welders running on this card, and you've also got the Oaklawn Handicap. So yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, this might be better than last week when it comes to Oaklawn.
Dude, I mean, because the thing is, like, you would pay to see these two face any day. I mean, Breeders' Cup, like, you hope that these two are still active when it gets. I mean, that's what you're hoping for. The way, I know that she beat her, Monomoy beat her in Swiss in the Breeders' Cup last year. It's like, but everyone, these are the two, with the male side, we don't have a lot of competitiveness on the, we're still trying to figure out who's, we know Mystic Guide obviously is legit. But the older side is tough. But man, this could be like a rivalry that we could see all year, because, maybe they go from here to the Spa. And then from there to of course, the Breeders' Cup. So, yeah, I mean, this is like, give the fans what they want. I love it. Like whatever if you like or don't like McPeak, you got to love the fact that he's just like, he's kind of talking shit. And I love it, because it's just like, hey, I'm bringing her, and he's like, he basically is saying like, yeah, we're going to beat her this time. So I love it. I love he's talking shit already.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's definitely a lot of fun. And listen, Monomoy is just kind of going to do her own thing. And Swiss Skydiver sounds like she's just going to try to follow her around some. I don't know. That may be different after Saturday. We'll see. But it's going to be a hell of a race. It's going to be a hell of a race. And, yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about it a lot. Like I said, a really good betting card around it, to where I think the pick fours, the pick fives, and the late sequences are going to pay, even though you're going to have that race within those sequences. Because there's a lot of good races around it. So yeah, it's gonna be great. Yeah, and Mark says you went to school in Clarksville, Arkansas. Highway 7 is a beautiful drive down to Hot Springs. It certainly is. I did it last weekend, so I know exactly where you're talking about there in Clarksville, and then just go a little ways farther to Russellville and head south. And yeah, it is a beautiful drive if you ever want to go down that way to Hot Springs.
What's funny is I always I couldn't make it this weekend or last weekend for the Arts and Derby, so Hallsburn went, and we of course are texting or calling pretty much the whole time, and yeah, because we're weird like that. And I'm like, I know when you're going through the bad part because I'm like, all the bubbles are green, like it's not delivering. It's like I know where you're at. I know exactly where you're at. It's like give him 30 minutes.
I think
he'll get it.
I think it's 68 miles from Russellville to Hot Springs, and about half of that you do not have cell service. No, so yeah, that's a little warning.
Yeah, I mean it's like every time we go through there, you're just like, well, I hope we we don't run out of gas or have problems because
that's right.
You're gonna walk and you just know where to pull over. So, but man, it this weekend, and again, it's. I know it's a big weekend, but we also kind of have a thing like the Oaks and the Derby to talk a little bit about. I think people are a little bit interested in that this year. We'll get into the concert tour and what you saw in Arkansas a little bit when we talk about our buy sells coming up here later in a later segment with the Oaks and Derby talk. But real quick, kind of what was what was it like to be? Of course, we were at the Breeders' Cup together, and that was our first kind of big event back. But, I know you and I have obviously talked about it since, but what was it like for you to be at Oaklawn again?
Oh, it was great. It was like going home again. It really was, and hadn't been there for 2 years, so it was just great to see it again. And like I've been saying this week on all the different shows, you guys, you just don't realize until you're back and there's a crowd at a racetrack. The loud, yelling and screaming as those horses approach the wire. I mean, that atmosphere, even though we were at the Breeders' Cup, there was no atmosphere like that. Oaklawn had plenty of it. So it was awesome. I mean, 17,000 people there. Usually there's 60 to 70 on Arkansas Derby day, 17,000. So a lighter crowd, but man, it was great to be back and watch them live and be back to the track that, basically we grew up on as far as horse racing goes. So yeah, it was great. I could not have had a better time.
What was it like looking like when they make the first turn, looking that direction and then seeing basically this monstrosity casino or a hotel? What is that like? I mean, because obviously we saw some of the construction, but to see it up and it's got to be kind of just weird because considering we've been there for so many years.
Yeah, it's almost like you kind of had to relearn that side of the facility. Like, wow, I can't believe it's up and it's done, and people were staying in it. There's a bar that overlooks the track up there. There's a restaurant that overlooks the track. That is. I mean, Oaklawn is, man, it is legit. They expanded the casino. They've got real cards in the casino now. They used to have like the electronic blackjack, and now it's real cards. I mean, it's got to be one of the best places in the country to go for gambling. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything, and then a great racetrack too. So yeah, it was amazing, man. And we're gonna have to stay there. It looked like state-of-the-art type rooms, so it was pretty nice.
Yes, I'm on the podcast, buddy. Close the door.
Are you done just a little while?
Yeah, I'll be done just a little while. Just the perks of being live with your little boys at home. So.
I was gonna say, do you have nobody watching them, or are they just?
Yeah, no, I got some food. I just laid around the living room and some TV going. So I'm probably hungry or something. I probably went through the food already. So no. My mom and dad are here, but usually what happens is they're tied up. Like the boys tied them up, and then they're it's like Dennis and Menace out there.
Yeah.
Which is perfect because let's just jump right into the best thing I saw today because actually Jared says, let's get the little man's pick before he leaves. He actually earlier today was like, hey, Daddy, can I be on the podcast today? And there you go. He just got on it. So I told him, I was like, well, maybe you can help me. I can tell you, though, he will pick the 8 or the 1 every single time, or the 7 because of Justify. The 7 and the 1 are Justify numbers. There you go. Yeah, he's got that ingrained in him. His pet is his stuffed animal horse. I got it from the Kentucky Derby when we saw Justify win the Kentucky Derby. Is named Justify, and it's like that's his horse. So he would give you the 1 or the 8 or the 7 in every race. So but no, let's get right into it because that was a perfect segue into the best thing I saw today because It's been a day, and I don't even have a best thing I saw today. It's more like we just need to vent. We need to vent together. I need an adult to vent with. So I don't have a phone. My phone is gone.
That explains a lot. Okay, go ahead.
I don't have any phone anymore. So I was trying to work a little bit earlier today and go out to outside, and my oldest, the one you just saw, everyone live. Thank you, by the way, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. If you're not, you didn't see them, but you could hear me talking to him. My oldest was squirting my youngest with the water hose into the house. Okay.
Oh, so nice.
It into the house. And so I'm like, all right, that obviously I got on to him, my oldest. Mm-hmm. Well, my youngest, Cooper, he doesn't like when I get on to Cohen. He doesn't like, even if he was obviously needed to get onto. So I'm cleaning up and I look outside. He's got a little pool outside. And I look out there and I'm like, what is that? My phone fully submerged in the pool outside. And a part of it was like, you little shit. Like, it's like you knew that you knew that was bad. So you did it to make me mad is what, but it's like, I go out there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, Cooper, you cannot do that. I grab it. It's still on. I'm like, holy shit, it's still working.
Yeah.
But it's like all flashing. And I'm like, oh no. So I just turned it off, and I've yet to turn it back. Try to turn it. I'm sure it's toast. Because I don't know how long it was underwater, but
somebody told me to put them in rice or something like that.
Yeah, of course I don't have any rice here. So
well, who does, right?
Right. It's like I don't have rice on hand. And then part of me was like, well, I've been wanting to get a new phone case, so I guess I'll just get a new phone. Well, I'm at it. So yeah, that's been my day. It's almost one of those things where you're like, I get it, I'm mad, but I'm not at the same time like, okay, you got mad at me. You tried to punish me. You threw my phone in the water. So that's been my day. How's your day been going?
It's been going a lot better than that. A whole lot better than that. I have nothing to add. I mean, I'm doing good. Everything's going great.
I guess the best thing I saw today could be the fact that I'm getting a new phone tomorrow. So that's exciting. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, that is exciting. Or you're going to go get some rice, right?
But by the time I get rice, it's going to be it'd be like trying to apply CPR on somebody like a day later. It's like, no, I mean, they're dead. So it's over. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything. No, nothing like that's happened to me today. I've just kind of been chilling out.
Yeah, I already know that your day has been dramatically less chaotic, but yeah. I'm sure you have something, right? So give me what do you have? What's the best thing you saw today?
The best thing I saw, Johnny Velasquez tweeted out a video, and I'm just now seeing it today. He tweeted it out yesterday, I think. Of Wise Dan and Successful Dan just running around in a field playing together, kind of acting like they're racing. I loved it. I was scanning Twitter because I don't really have a best thing I saw today so far, and I saw this. I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. So if you go check it out, go to our Twitter page. I retweeted it just a minute ago. Wise Dan just out running around with his brother, Successful Dan. And two pretty darn good racehorses. Of course, Wise Dan, one of the best we've seen in our lifetime. And then Successful Dan wasn't bad either. Anyway, it's just kind of fun to watch them enjoying life.
Yeah, and Mark says, "Happy retirement, Charles Lopresti." Yeah.
There you go. That's fine.
That could be the best thing. He finally kind of officially retiring. Of course, he trained. He trained both of them. No, he just trained Wise Dan, didn't he? But no, I mean. You think how many people you think that don't that just got into the game in the last handful of years even know who Wise Dan is? Because I mean that's a horse that doesn't. I don't feel like Wise Dan gets a ton of mentions.
Yeah,
but that's a horse that was just unbelievable to watch.
Yeah, turf horses in this country. That's the problem. Turf horses in this country, they don't get the respect they deserve, and he was something special.
Mark says, "Do the new cell phones these days come with the Tinder app?" I hope so. Well, I'm actually, that brings up a good question. Do the hidden pictures I have, do they carry over? Because that could be a concern.
I don't know the answer to that. I'm afraid the answer is no.
Oh boy, that goes, a month of hard work down the drain. Yeah, I don't know. But no, we'll find out, Mark. And especially if I go in and the guy's like looking at me weird when he's like, switching. Yeah, I'm like, out here,
I do the next 30 minutes of the show by myself.
Yeah, you're on your own. I'm going to the store. I gotta get rice. I cannot sacrifice those pictures. I worked so hard for those, guys.
Mom, I'm getting the rice.
Rice, Mom, now.
Leave the kids.
Yeah, we can send Cohen's ass to go get it.
Oh man, that's great.
So yeah, that's let's pray. Everyone do a little silent prayer for me that it does transfer over, and also that the pictures don't get like seen by the people that work at Verizon. So, because that might get me like a call.
Oh, whoops, this one.
It'd be like like that you could do the trade and stuff or whatever. It's like, we'll keep this one. It's like, no, like we're not mailing that one. That's gonna get FBI called or something. So. Oh shit! All right, let's get to some horse racing.
Okay.
All right, today's show we're gonna preview the $1 million Apple Blossom Handicap and the $1 million Oaklawn Handicap at Oaklawn Park. And the dudes are going to do some buy-sell on the top contenders from Longines Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby. Let's go!
Buy-sell a new phone.
Yeah. Selling and buying a new phone. Yes. No. Oh, man. I was... It turns out they are somewhat water resistant because it held on for a while, but
there's no telling how long it was in there either. So
no.
If you grab it, if you saw it real quick and grabbed it, it'd probably still work. But yeah,
fully submerged. Not it was underwater for a while. So.
See, this is why I don't have kids, because I would have probably thrown him over the fence if he would have done that.
I did. It was one of those, like, he was, and of course he's just saying that he's just in a diaper outside because they're playing in the water. And I was just like, no, you can't do that. I grabbed the phone, one swat, and he's just like, of course, erupts in tears, like, and like, and I explained, and I set him down, explained to him, I was like, you can't put daddy's phone in the water. Oh, man.
I hate to see it.
I'm really worried, Mark, about the pictures now.
Can we get Lily from AT&T on the show? I think that'd be fun. Yeah.
Ask her some questions about hidden pictures.
Yes. Yeah, if she can retrieve them or show us some of her own.
That's what I thought you were going with that. Oh, man. All right. Let's see. My daughter has had a full-on blowout to watching you guys before. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yeah. This one. Oh, yeah. Sorry, dude. We said we clicked at the same time. Haha, your house sounds like so much fun.
No, to be honest, it is fun. It's just insane. I mean, when I'm a single dad, so when I had the boys, it's just pure chaos, and it's great. But just you can't plan on getting much work done. Halterman knows that pretty well. He'll get emails from me at like 2 a.m.
We have different ideas of fun. I think me and Blues playoffs have different ideas of fun than you.
But here's the thing: being a dad. Like tomorrow, I'm taking the boys to a trampoline park, and to me, that sounds like complete fun.
And they'll probably jump on your phone and crush it. So
yeah, I know, right? I literally watch them just pour water on it and dump it in the trash. So it's like a big fuck you, It's like, you got a new phone. This is why any dad knows. This is why you have to have a case on your phone at all times. Even though it didn't help me today, obviously, but
no. Get a waterproof one.
Yeah. Do they make waterproof phones?
A case. I think they make waterproof cases.
Oh, well, no. You probably can't hear shit out of it or something.
Yeah. If you had a water park in the house and it was maybe just you and, a wife or girlfriend or your Tinder girls, that'd be all right. But kids, that's when it gets bad. So, whoops.
Yeah, this is it's been a day. That's why I'm drinking. This is my 14th beer. Just kidding. Anybody listening? Oh shit, that is funny.
It 2 years.
What's funny about that, Jared, is that the boys have I have like a GMC like Denali truck or whatever, and they have a miniature version of it, like a little like Power Wheels, and so they cruise around the neighborhood and looking like my truck, and so he's already practiced. He's just, they'll hop in my truck one day and just, zoom off. So it's pretty scary. It's kind of scary how accurate that might actually happen. So I'm not going to think too much about it. All right. Okay. Let's get to it. 3, 2, 1. Before we get to Derby and Oaks, we got 2 big races to talk about at Oaklawn Park on Saturday. Race 9, Oaklawn Park, Oaklawn Handicap's Grade 2 worth $1 million. 4-year-olds and up, going 1/18 miles. Field of 8 lines up for this one. We talked about it on the opening this day with the Oaklawn Handicap, and of course the Apple Blossom. 2 really good races, 2 good cards, or 2 good races. And Express Train shows up here, obviously narrowly getting beat last time out at Santa Anita for John Sheriffs. But you got some shooters in here that might try to upset. Of course, Silver State at 4-1 seems like an insane price, right? At 4-1 at Steve Asmussen, of course, kind of seems like this horse is finally getting his legs. Owendale. Can you ever? I'm done with Owendale after that last time. I still think he won, by the way. Fearless for Todd Pletcher. Irad comes in to ride for Todd Pletcher. Obviously, he's riding in the Apple Blossom as well. So, Halterman, what'd you think of this race? Maybe you don't have the star power like you have in the Apple Blossom with the 2 big dogs there, but you got. I think you got at least 4 horses to make a pick here, and then throw in Warriors Charge or Radar Superstar or whatever you want to do here, Silver Prospector, and you maybe have a looming upsetter, but I feel like it's a decent field to bet.
I think you have 8 horses that you could make a case for, to be completely honest. I think this is as far as betting goes, this is one of the better betting races you're going to find on Saturday, no matter what. I really think any of these horses have a shot to win here. You mentioned Warriors Charge, a horse that lost an allowance last time out, but he's the lone speed in a what looks to be a pretty paceless race. He might get brave. This horse finished second in this race last year. We've seen him run good races in the past, so maybe he can kind of get back to it. But, in the end, I thought Silver State was the right price, I think, to take a swing. And I think you're going to get that. I think he is going to be the third choice. I think Express Train and Fearless, coming off of good races from out of town, they're going to take the money. I really think Silver State kind of sits the trip. I think he sits on the rail. He saves all the ground. I think he's got enough speed to kind of get in position to where he's not shuffled back. I think he's kind of making first run at the leaders, turning for home, and I think he can get it done. This is a horse that's won 4 races in a row, and I just think there's still more for him to do. There's more for him to give. So I think he's going to run well here, and I really love the price of 4-1. I couldn't go against him.
There's a few questions. Like someone says, Blues Playoff says, who do you think will be the favorite? And that's a really interesting question because it does seem like they're all right there. I get Express Train is the morning line favorite. Back-to-back triple-digit buyers, of course, just narrowly lost to Idol last time out in Santa Anita. Handicap. Shipping in, but gosh, I wouldn't be surprised if, honestly, I know you think you would go get Silver State at 4-1. I don't think you will. To me, it seems like you're gonna one of these horses. Owendale won't be the favorite, but Pletcher or Silver State, it seems like one of those could possibly bypass Express Train, right?
I think Fearless is going to be like 5-2, and Express Train is going to be about 3-1. That would be my guess. and then Silver State's next at like 7-2, 4-1. I think Fearless goes off the favorite. But I definitely think it's highly debatable, and I would not be surprised if Silver State or Express Train was the favorite. I think it's going to be one of those first three there.
Now listen, and I told you, and I'm adamant about it. But if there was a horse I wanted to make sure I threw in multis, like, doesn't the race kind of set up for Owendale a little bit? Like, it seems like there's a ton of pace in the race. I think he. Listen, I'm not picking him. I no way want to any part of him here. But doesn't it? I don't know. I just feel like this race at a mile and an eighth, I think he could get I think the setup could be there. I am going with Fearless. I like Fearless here, just for my pick. But just Owendale, man. I think he might. If he's 7-2, then no thanks. But if he floats up to like 5-6-1, I wouldn't want to get beat by him.
He won't be on any ticket I have. I'll just flat out say it. I don't see it here at all. Look, 2 races back, he got beat by Silver Prospector, who's in this race and is 10-1. So I would take Silver Prospector over him. I would take Rated R Superstar over him as well. I kind of think Owendale, if you want to Keem in the 3rd spot, go for it. But as far as like a multi, I don't want any part of him. I really don't. I love your top pick, though. I like Fearless. But Owendale, no, I'm not. I can't get on board with that. Listen, if he couldn't win that last one, I don't know.
No, I'm with you. And again, that's what I mean. Obviously, he's not in my top 3. But I'm just, as far as if I could afford it, he would be one, because I just have like this weird like love-hate with Owendale, where it's just like I just feel like it's gonna set up, and if I see him coming, I'm gonna be so upset. He's been working well, but he's a pretty good workhorse. Obviously back at Oaklawn Park, just fired a bullet, 4 furlongs and almost 47 flat. So good work, and flows back to ride. So let's talk. Some people talk a little bit about Silver Prospector here in the chat. You mentioned how you would play him over Owendale, and of course you're talking about that Razorback where he got beat by Mystic Guide, of course, who went on to win the $12 million Dubai World Cup, finished 2nd. So I mean, there's some class, there's some form. He got a 98 buyer that day. Silver Prospector's a horse that who I've tried to pick, you've tried to pick at times, and it's just he's burns tickets. 10-1, he might be one that you want to play, right?
The only problem I have with him is Santana's on Silver State, so that's why I lean towards Silver State, because you'd think he's got the option to play to pick one or the other between the 2 silvers here. And Silver Prospector, I like him. I like him as a horse, but I don't quite think he's going to be good enough to win here. No disrespect to him last time out, getting beat by Mystic Guide, that's no big deal, and got 2nd. But I don't know. I don't think that he can actually win it.
Nick Feldman says Owendale is like Kirk Cousins. That might be the best.
Yep.
The best comparison I've ever, like, that's so good. Because Haltern and I, like, we have it's almost like a running chat between just him and I about Kirk Cousins every single Sunday with the NFL. I mean, we hate this guy, and it's just like, what are these people? So maybe it's perfect, because he's almost like he shows just enough to be sort of considered to be, like a legit quarterback, but then he just goes out and throws like 6 picks in a game. And you're like, what the fuck, man? No, let's talk a little bit let's get serious about the win contenders. Fearless, a horse that hadn't been seen since last June, came back to win the Gulfstream Park Mile, beat Performer that day. Of course, you and I both like Performer, didn't think he could beat, did. Ran huge. He ran a really good race, just a really professional race. And this is obviously an interesting horse, and a horse that at one point, what's interesting about this horse is he looked really good starting out his career. Then he faltered. Then he's off for a long time. He's gelded. He comes back. He runs a huge race. And now he's back here in a big time race, like $1 million race. So Fearless to me seems kind of like an unknown, and considering it's Pletcher, it's IRAD. I've sworn to never bet against Todd Pletcher at Oaklawn Park ever again. So the fact that he's here, and I think the race sets up really nicely for him. So I like Fearless a lot.
Here's a fun fact for you. Owendale was the favorite over Mystic Guide in the Razorback. Let that one sink in.
Right.
Owendale was the favorite over Mystic Guide in the Razorback. Unbelievable.
That's almost hard to believe.
He was 7-5 and Mystic Guide was 2-1.
And they both had similar races afterwards, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Mystic Guide went and won the Dubai World Cup, and Owendale lost one of the worst runnings of the New Orleans handicap maybe ever. So
yeah, Mark, you said Dan's at 41. Yep, that's exactly right. So that's that horse is a horse that most people don't know, and I'll never forget, because that horse cost Halter and I one of our best cashes ever.
Yep.
In a pick 4 because we were just stupid. So all right. So talk about a horse like Warrior's Charge, a horse that you and I obviously are used to be huge fans of, I guess I should say. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Flo, that you talked a little bit about the jockey change with Silver State, or staying on Silver State with Santana. Warrior's Charge, is on Owendale, whereas he jumps off Warrior's Charge. So that should tell you a little bit. Plus the fact that, Warrior's Charge looks like a different horse now. He's just not very good.
I would say, to answer this question, it's
there you go.
Very, very, very bad sign for Warrior's Charge.
I agree.
Listen, I happen to think that he is the speed of the race and he can get out in front of them, but I can't sit here and be with any confidence that, hey, Warrior's Charge is going to run well. I think it's just a situation where if he gets the trip, maybe, he gets the job done, or maybe not even get the job done, hold on for third, something like that. But yeah, that's a bad sign. That's a very bad sign for Warrior's Charge.
It does feel a little bit like, I know Mystic Guide's not here, and obviously, but he did run here, so you got a little bit of the kind of similar class of horses. It does feel like out of this bunch that at least one or two of these could be a horse that we need to know. Yeah. Obviously, Express Train being a very good horse out west and coming here. Fearless, if he wins here, you got to think, Saratoga, Belmont, whatever he could end up going. Silver State, of course, introduction there with Willis and Winchell. So, I mean, it does feel like these horses win here, and it's like they become a serious player into the older horses division that we're kind of lacking right now.
Yeah, I think so. I think you got a couple of players here. And like I said, what if Express Train comes over here and rolls? Well, then all of a sudden he looks pretty good, and so does Idol, who beat him in the San Anita Handicap. So there's a lot to look forward to here. As far as Fearless goes, your top pick, that horse has had hype for a long time. Maybe he's getting ready to come on and have a nice year. So it's definitely, like I said at the beginning, we don't have that star, and it's not a lot of star power, but there might be, one that if they show out here and really run big, that we could say, hey, maybe he's kind of ready to take that next step. And will we think as highly about whoever wins here or even finishes second as we did last week in the Oaklawn Mile with By My Standards and Rushy, who I think stamped themselves as kind of horses to look out for this season. So hopefully we can kind of get the same kind of thing with this one.
I still don't know how Rushy won. I mean, I saw the photo, but I mean, it's just like you were there live. We were texting each other. I was watching it on, and it was one of those things where it was almost like the Owendale race. I saw the race end, and I was like, that was close. Rushy got it, turned it off. I was like, I said, Rushy got it. Don't worry, Halterman. And then I'm like, you're like, no. I'm like, how? How did Rushy not get that? And oh man, that was that was brutal, because I really felt like he got it.
I was shocked you were so confident, because we were all like, I don't know, that's close. And then I thought, like, well, maybe Jared saw it on slow motion already, because you're like, yeah, another winner, good job. I'm like, oh, well, maybe he won, guys. And Kelby's like, man, I don't know. No.
Well, I'm sure watching it live, there's no way you would have thought that's super close. But I mean, it just seemed like he got, he held on, he got the bob, like it just, but you watch that, God, it was brutal. I mean, that was close. That was actually closer than the Owendale one. The Owendale one actually wasn't that close, and surprisingly not close. All right, let's get to, so real quick, that's a race that feels like you need to at least go 3 or 4 deep, maybe even more, depending on how, because you are going to be able to go thinner, let's hope, right? In race 11, it seems like you only need to go 2 deep. And if you really have a bold opinion, maybe you single here. Let's go to race 11. That, of course, the main event on the card, the Apple Blossom, grade 1 Apple Blossom, $1 million, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, going 1 1/16 miles, field of 6 lines up for this one. And man, I mean, really, make no introduction here. Swiss Skydiver versus Monomoy Girl. Throw in a little Latruska. What do you got?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, right? Well, first and foremost, I know Latruska, a lot of people think is going to get loose on the lead here, and you certainly think that this horse is going to be in front. I think the problem for Latruska is both Monomoy Girl and Swiss Skydiver can be tactical. So I don't think they're going to let her get that far away. And I think these two will just track Latruska and then kind of just pass her, down the stretch. It's close between Monomoy Girl and Swiss Skydiver. It certainly is going to be a battle. It's very close. I still lean towards Monomoy Girl. I want to see Swiss Skydiver beat her before I kind of get on that bandwagon. And I think with her in the race, you all of a sudden you get odds on Monomoy Girl that make her bettable, like in the Breeders' Cup. I don't really hold what happened to Swiss Skydiver in the Breeders' Cup against her as far as today's race. But in the end, you're just going to have to prove to me you can beat Monomoy Girl. This is a horse that has 16 starts and hasn't crossed the wire first once in those 16 starts. And the one time she didn't, she was a 2-year-old and she got beat by a neck. So, until she beats her, I got to stick with Monomoy Girl.
I'm with you, dude. And yeah, let's say real quickly, Latruska is that's a pretty cool story, because I remember this horse. We all remember this horse, at least you and I do. And this horse, the Mexican horse that came over and ran in Gulfstream that day and was awesome. And then of course you kind of think, well, forget about it. But this horse just kind of keeps coming along, win some stakes races here and there. Of course, they have lost the blinkers, and this horse has really turned into a nice horse the last 3 starts. Narrowly getting beat by She Dares the Devil last time out in the Azeri. But yeah, I mean, considering you go back all the way back to the kind of like, oh, well, whatever, like that was kind of a cool horse, to now we're even in the, you and I maybe aren't so much, but in the conversation of her matching up against Monomoy and you know what I mean? That is a very wide gap that I feel like she's kind of shortened a little bit, and I didn't think a lot of us saw that. So Latruska is a very interesting horse. You got to love the fact that Irad is going to ride her, right? Yep. That's a huge sign that he's going to try to go. And you got to think in his mind, in the trainer's mind, is like, hey, there's only one way to win this race. And it's just fucking go as fast as you can and just try to hope to bury him, Yep. So I feel like the pace will be there, but I'm with you. Swiss it'll be like they'll come hunting. The 2 of the 6 will come hunting, and I mean, I'm Monomoy. I'm Team Monomoy all the way. I'm just like, how can you go against her at this point? She just keeps coming back, and until proven otherwise, like you said, the Golden Rod is really the only race that she didn't win, so to speak, and she did beat Midnight Vizu that day. Make no mistake about it, but she did get DQ'd. But I thought she came, because you and I were on the road on the way home from the Breeders' Cup, and of course we thought we saw her swan song, and then it's like she gets sold, and then it's like, well, they're hearing rumors that she may come back, and it's just like, what? Like, keep her retired, like she does nothing left to prove. Let her retire. And then she comes back and just kind of rolls in the Bacoa like it was nothing on the slot, mind you. It's just like no big deal, and it's like, oh well, I mean, I guess she can just keep doing it, So I think it's Monomoy. I love the fact that Swiss is running as good as she is right now, and I think it's going to be a throwdown. But I think Monomoy just outclassed her. She knows she's one of those horses like where she knows where the wire is. Doesn't matter.
Yep. No, and the thing about the Latruska camp, and again, I like you trying to make an angle here to play a higher price, but you kind of look, okay, where were these horses, Swiss Skydiver and Monomoy Girl I'm referring to, at the half-mile point in their races. They're always either in the lead or within a length, I think Swiss Skydiver in the Breeders' Cup was 4 behind. But other than that, they're within a length, half, or they're ahead. So I just don't see a situation where both of them let her get 3 or 4 lengths ahead, because I think that's what it's going to take. If they're all within about a length of each other, turning for home, I don't think Latruska is going to be able to hold them off. So, but I get it. I get people trying to kind of create some value, and that's one way to do it. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It's just, she's just so damn consistent, Monomoy girl. Just, man, the one worry, she's now 6, Swiss Skydiver's 4. So she's kind of the young, up and coming new shooter, so to speak. You get up 5, 6, 7 years old, sometimes they start to slow down a bit. We haven't seen that from Monomoy girl, but that is the one worry, right? But
right. And you never know when it's going to hit. You know, it just sometimes these fillies and mares, it just hits and it's over. And they just kind of lose their interest. You talk about consistency, and Swiss Skydiver, hasn't lost, undefeated 1 for 1 at Oaklawn, 4 for 3 or 3 for 4, I should say, at this distance. Jared Clements, he's afraid that Monomoy girl will be 2 to 5, and I mean that's not out of. I mean, I think she'll be heavily bet, obviously. Yeah. So let's just paint a picture here. If let's just even say 4 to 5 to make it a little more debatable. 4 to 5, and say Swiss is 8 to 5, 2 to 1, 9 to 5, somewhere in that ballpark. Does Swiss become more playable for you? Like, are you more interested in Swiss because the value is a little bit like they're so close in as far as their ability, that 4 to 5, 3 to 5 on Monomoy versus 8 to 5, 9 to 5, 2 to 1 on Swiss, you all of a sudden want to play Swiss?
I would take Monomoy at 4 to 5. Anything lower than that, I would probably just skip it as far as a win bet. Because I don't really like to do that. If I have a horse and I pick that horse to win, and then the odds drop too low, I would rather just skip it than play, my second choice and get beat. Because it seems like anytime I do that, I get beat. So I know a lot of people would say, "Oh no, you just go to the next one and you bet it." That's not how I like to do it. So 4 to 5 or better, I'll take Monomoy girl. If she drops below 4 to 5. I'll just sit and watch this one as far as betting a win.
This is great. This is a really good question, actually. It's kind of funny. If Nick is if Odell's Kirk, what quarterback is Monomoy? So what would you? This is interesting. So Odell is Kirk.
I mean, Monomoy would be Tom Brady, I think.
Let's not go there.
Why?
She's like.
Yeah, Monomoy would have to be Brady. I agree.
He's like Aaron Rodgers or Elway or Aikman. Not Aikman. Aikman. Can we go Aikman?
I guess, yeah.
Brady's the GOAT, and she's not the GOAT. I love her, but she's not the GOAT. I can't compare her to Brady.
Well, I mean, she's an older horse, and she never loses. And she never really looks amazing. She just wins every time.
I thought about Favre. Drew Brees is pretty good. Montana, it's pretty interesting that everyone. I'm gonna stick with. Here's the thing, because you got to think of championships. She's won how many Breeders' Cups? 2. Mm-hmm. She won the Kentucky Oaks, so she's really kind of won 3, so to speak, kind of big championship races. She's like, I think she's an Aikman or an Elway. I'm gonna stick with that.
Okay. I mean, I guess there's no wrong answer here, right?
No, but we did have this conversation. Remember this after, obviously, when we kind of thought she was done.
Yeah.
And we talked. I think we had an article. I think Magic may have put an article, or maybe you did. I don't remember, on the website. And it was like kind of how she kind of compares. Was it your dad?
Yeah. I think it was.
I think it was like kind of how Monomoy, like how she kind of compares to the history of great mares, and kind of doesn't get a lot of respect in comparison to a lot of, and she's probably one of the best to ever do it, plain and simple. So how about this? How about this, Halterman? I'll give you this. If she has another great year, wins the Breeders' Cup, I'll give you Brady. How about this? This horse returned from a 560-day layoff and like it was nothing. I mean, that's pretty incredible too. The fact that they bring a Breeders' Cup winner and a Kentucky Oaks winner back after 560 days is almost unheard of. Like that's just silly talk, right? In today's times.
And then and not only did she come back, she's just as good as she was. I mean, that's some pretty damn amazing.
It's unbelievable. I mean, yeah, it's. There was a time when I remember we had this conversation with, oh gosh, was it Aaron West that we bet?
Yep.
Not to like, I mean, because Aaron, I mean, obviously we're great friends with Aaron, but we like, will she ever run again? The conversation was like I think him and I had a bet like that she'll ever win a race again. And this was like, I think this was like,
it was summer of that year.
We were at Saratoga talking about it, and I think it was like, yeah, it was like 2018, 19, somewhere in there, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, she didn't come back till 20th and hasn't lost since. So, yeah.
I have a question. Okay, this is not a criticism. This is an open forum question, and people can comment on this as well. She needs to run against males. My question is why? And you can answer it, Jared, or anybody.
I mean, I don't personally think she has anything to prove. And that's why I was so adamant to have her retired after the Breeders' Cup. So it's like she has nothing left to prove. She could go undefeated in 2021 and wouldn't prove to me anything other. You know what I mean? Like, I still think she's one of the greatest mares of all time. I guess facing the males and winning wouldn't put her in the conversation as one of the greatest horses of all time, right? You'd have to.
I mean, I just don't. I'm not in the same boat of the obsession of runner against the boys now. You know, now again, like some of you guys are saying, you know, it would be cool. Let's see. Oh, I think it'd be fun to watch. Sure. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that 1,000%. Like, it'd be great to watch, but I'm just never really that proves it now, you know. Like,
and one thing to think about is like, let's just pretend for a second that Swiss is in this race and Monomoy's in the Oaklawn Handicap, right?
Mm-hmm.
She beats them because that, like, would we all be getting too excited that she beat Silver State and, you know,
no,
like Latruska, or not Latruska, but for whatever the Pletcher horse is called.
I think she might be a shorter price in the Oaklawn Handicap than she's going to be in the Apple Blossom, and I think she might be facing a much better horse. Well, I don't think there's any might about it. I think she's facing a much better horse in the Apple Blossom than she would in the Oaklawn Handicap.
Now, to Nick's point, it would be to me, it just from the fan standpoint and just the build up. Wouldn't it be amazing to see her have a hell of a 2021, and they decide we're going to run her in the Classic?
Yeah,
we're gonna. This is gonna be her last year. This is it for sure, and we're gonna run her in the Classic. Because, you know, if we make a case of the male division, and then all of a sudden she goes and wins that, then I think you can make, you know, I have no problem with that, and I think that'd be amazing.
Oh, again, don't get me wrong at all. I'd love to see it. I think that would be super exciting to see it, and the build up and the hype. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. But I just don't. I don't think there's like, now she beats the males. Now we know she was really good. I don't see it.
What's interesting about her, and maybe and it's partly because it's like she has had injury problems and maybe never kind of quite had that like full like stretch where she can kind of build up to it. But, you know, Elate did it. Of course, Zenyatta, you know, like some of these great mares that ran in the Classic, you know, and they've always opted to run her in the distaff, you know, and it's like, maybe now that she's won the distaff a couple times, it's like, now we can be like, hey, what the hell? Let's run her in the Classic.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think it's possible for sure. I think they've kind of said we're going to run against males. So, you know, I think I do think it would be fantastic to see it. I'm just saying, I don't think she has to. I don't think she needs. I wouldn't phrase it as she needs to run against males. I just think it'd be cool, but I don't really think she needs to. She can do whatever, and she's gonna listen. I don't care if you're running against donkeys. If you can win every start, cross the line first, every start but one your whole career. That's pretty amazing, especially when you've ran year after year after year. So, And again, why come back, keep pounding the females? Maybe if she pounds Swiss Skydiver Saturday, I can start to kind of look at it that way, Darren. But the problem is, I think Swiss Skydiver is about as good as anybody else other than Mystic Guide. Now, I think Mystic Guide and her, that'd be a hell of a race for sure. But other than him, I think Swiss Skydiver will be about the stiffest competition she could face right now.
Yep. No, you and we're in the same. Like, I completely agree with what you're saying. Like, she has nothing left to prove. But from a fan standpoint, from just pure entertainment, her against the males in any race, but especially the Classic, would just be fun to watch. Because to that point, she definitely has nothing left to prove in the Breeders' Cup Distaff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nothing. She has nothing to prove in that race. So it's like, why not? But you never know until you try it. So we'll see. But it's one of those things too. What if she goes and loses Saturday? And then all of a sudden we're like, remember we all talked about her running in the Classic? Yeah. And she just got beat by Swiss Skydiver. Maybe Swiss Skydiver should run in the Classic. So
Swiss Skydiver did beat the boys in the Preakness.
She did face the boys already and beat them. So that's one thing to think about, guys. Swiss Skydiver did face the boys and she won. So, and the thing about Swiss Skydiver is, like, you can make a case for how poorly she ran in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. I mean, she didn't have the best of trips, and then she comes back and runs awesome in the Beholder Mile. So it's like, she's pretty fucking good too, Yeah. So let's see what she does on Saturday too.
And all the Rachel comments, just real quick. Rachel Alexandra had a 3-year-old campaign that we will never see again. It was the greatest female campaign for a 3-year-old. Well, at least since I've been following it. I mean, that was absolutely amazing. The difference is different horses have different legacies. We tend to conveniently forget that 3-year-old campaign completely gutted Rachel. And as a 4-year-old, she wasn't really the same. Where Monomoy Girl has been able to hold the form year after year here. So, yeah, I would agree. Rachel is better than Monomoy Girl. But as far as a career as a whole, this Monomoy Girl... pretty amazing. I mean, this is pretty impressive.
I agree. All right. We're both on Monomoy, obviously, for this race, but man, if you got to watch it, right? It's just one of those that like if the odds don't go, whatever, like, who cares? Just watch this race and see these two throw down, and more importantly, see what these two great fillies and mares, I guess, one filly, one mare are going to do moving forward. So Monomoy Girl and the Apple Blossom. Yeah, that's clearly by the conversation here. Yeah, this is going to be one hell of a race to watch, no doubt.
Yeah. Oh yeah. People are fired up for sure, and that's good. By the way, these comments that are coming in, I don't necessarily think any of you are wrong or right. I think there's different opinions, and there's more than one right answer. I'm just giving you mine, but
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, I like, a couple people, I just saw this one first, said Met Mile. Hell, I mean, I'd love it. That'd be great, I'm not sitting here against it. I'm just saying I don't think she has to do it,
Yeah, you and I would be the first to be like, if we see her at this point, because now that she's come back, I mean, it's like, if you come back, if we see her entered in that race, the Met Mile, I'm like, yeah, bring it, man. That's awesome. Like, I don't know if she can win, but hell, it's fun to have her in a race. I mean, just like when you had Beholder in the Pacific Classic. I mean, it is awesome. And look what she did. Of course, then when she was going to run in the Breeders' Cup Classic against Farrow, I was like, golly, that was amazing. We won that.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you win this one, you go, hey, we're going to go Met Mile next. I don't think anybody is going to be crying about that. I think we would be like, oh, here we go. So yeah.
Who do we want to see win? I definitely want to see Monomoy. I just love Monomoy. So I guess in some sense, Swiss is like kind of the fun, because like that's the fun horse, because like she's still younger, and she might have a bigger career moving forward.
Yeah. I'm with you. I want to see Monomoy win, but I'm not going to be sad if Swiss Skydiver wins. If one of these two don't win, that's when I'll be sad.
Kevin Mike Smith says, is that Mike Smith? He says, Jared, can we talk about Constitution, how he's about to dominate the Derby? Kyler River is out. Easily lead it now. All right, we are going to talk about the Derby. We're going to talk Oaks first, and then we're going to get to the Derby. And obviously Concert Tour is going to be a very strong talk here. We've been good. This podcast has been going already and going long already, and we're going to keep it going because I got a feeling these conversations are going to continue.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are making this awesome with the comments. I love it.
Yeah, so. And thank you everybody again for tuning in because, gosh, I mean, no one comments like the Blinkers Off show. So you guys bring it. It keeps us.
I'm on every damn show we have all the times, and I know this for a fact. Blinkers Off is the best for comments.
Halterman set a record last month for the most shows in a single month. So he's on every show. He sees it all. And so if he's telling you that it is, then it is. So
we greatly appreciate it. So
all right. Let's talk. So everyone, take off your derby hat for just a second.
Yeah.
Throw on the big hat, the Philly, the pink hat for the Oaks. We got to talk Oaks because this race is. Some of y'all want to bet the Oaks Derby double. This might have some profitable outcomes for you guys. We got to talk Oaks. I mean, this is a hell of a race. It really is. I really do think this is going to be a good race. So, Jared says we can't comment on Ricky's show because he won't shut up. Well,
is that not the truth?
Look at this. That's my boy, Mark. I knew I had UTEP. I wasn't sure about Ricky. Actually, it was actually opposite. I knew I had Ricky. I wasn't sure about UTEP. All right, let's get to it. 3, 2, 1. Of course, the Kentucky Derby is just a mere couple of weeks away. But before that, the day before, Friday, the Kentucky Oaks. It seems like this year more than ever, it seems like all the talk is on this Derby. And of course, with Concert Tour kind of blowing the Arkansas Derby, seemingly leaving it wide open. And no one wants to bet Essential Quality because he's going to be so bet. But we have an Oaks race, and the Oaks race is kind of getting overlooked a little bit. And it's got a handful of really good fillies that kind of have come into this race running really, really well. And it just seems like you're going to have a tough time picking these horses. So as we get into, I haven't talked to Holtzman about this, but we're going to try to make this almost a daily occurrence where on some platform on Racing Dudes, there's going to be Derby Oaks talk like for at least a week leading up to the Derby. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be constant. So we're going to talk our asses off for the Oaks in the Derby, but we thought, let's do a little buy sell right now. As we're sitting here. What is it like? Are we a week and a half? Right?
15 days.
2 weeks. 2.5. I guess so. Almost 2 weeks from tomorrow on Friday. You're listening to this. It is Friday. 2 weeks from today is the Kentucky Oaks. So we are 2 weeks out, and we're gonna do a little buy sell on 5 or 6 of each race. So let's kick things off with kind of the one horse, the one everyone needs, and it's really like the Oaks is a little more top heavy. I mean, I guess that both races are top heavy, but it does feel like you can kind of reach in the Derby a little bit. But with the Oaks, it feels like there's like a select 5 or 6 horses, and that's it. Travel Calm, right? Finner, she's the lead horse. Fairgrounds Oaks winner last out. Turn the tables on Clairiere again. Kind of had the rubber match there. So Travel Calm probably going to be the favorite of the Kentucky Oaks. Are you buy or sell on her as we are 2 weeks out?
Yeah, I've got to buy her. I like how she's coming into it. I thought her best race was last time out there in Louisiana in the Fairgrounds Oaks. I really like Travel Calm, so I'm 100% buy on Travel Calm.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on Travel Calm being a buy. How can you not, right? I am interested though. I don't think that like there's a lot like you can play against her if you want with some of these other ones, but as far as like she's a total win contender. She's the Essential Quality of this race, no doubt about it. She is what Essential Quality is to the Kentucky Derby. Malthot. Let's get to Malthot because this is the very winner of the Ashland last time out, and this is a very highly regarded but also highly debated horse because, like you say. Darren says, one has the highest buyer, one has the highest time form, one has highest rags, one has the highest Briz. And like, that's kind of, that explains kind of what this race looks like. Like Real Dynasty, thanks for tuning in, of course, our boys. Rags says Pletcher, so it's like, yeah, I mean, and honestly, I'm starting to wonder if Malathot, because you have the recency, because it is Pletcher, because the horse was a monster, maybe this horse is the Kentucky Oaks favorite.
Yeah, I'll buy Malathot as well, and I think it's, for me, that's who I'm down to. It's one of those two is who I'm going to pick on top. And listen, I have a big, not a big problem, but it is kind of a question mark. And I think Mark, you kind of said it in the comments. I don't see it just offhand, but one prep and then to the Oaks. I still think that's a little questionable. I'd like to see Malathot have another start, have 2 starts, and then the Oaks. But still, the talent's there. And boy, last time out, I thought Malathot was beat by Pass the Champagne, and she just went and got her. So for me, it's Malathot and Travel Calm. That's the 2 big horses. Oh yeah,
I tend to. She's super scary, and I'm with you. Like if I'm playing my multis or whatever, like she's included. But I do have a fear that it's Pass the Champagne's okay, and probably a horse that's improving. But Malathot seems like a horse that maybe is going to be really good at Saratoga. Maybe needs one more race here, and Travel Calm and Clairiere. And we're gonna talk about both. We'll talk about Clairiere here in a second, but both those horses are very well established at this point. Travel Calm, again, that's a really good comparison with Central Quality. She's super established at this point. Let's just go. I'll skip one and we'll go back to her. But Pass the Champagne, since we're talking about the Ashland, second place, looked like a winner. Malathot ran her down. There's a lot of debate with Pass the Champagne. Some saying, well, she couldn't win that race. Can't she really win the Kentucky Oaks? Others saying, well, she needed that race. Better again next time. She's going to be a good price in the Kentucky Oaks.
I'm going to buy her as well. I kind of have her in that 3rd or 4th spot at the moment. So it'll just be a situation. How deep am I going to go on Oaks Day and what's around it to kind of, say, hey, where are we going to go short? Where are we going to go deep? But on deeper tickets, I think Pass the Champagne is still interesting just because she made a move on that turn that looked like a star and just kind of flattened out. Now, did she flatten out because she's just maybe not that good? She flattened out because she got a little tired. I don't know. But I think Pass the Champagne is still interesting enough to keep on the list here.
By the way, I think I said it, buy on Travel, buy on Malathot. I am buy on Pass the Champagne as well. Because I'm with you. I'm more on that was a really impressive move she made, and she just got ran down by what I think is a pretty freaking good horse. But if Pass the Champagne sitting there at 6-1 or something in the Kentucky Oaks, 7-1, whatever she is, that's super interesting to me for a horse that, especially when you consider what if Malathot's 2-1 or 5-2, and Pass the Champagne 6 or 7-1 and just needed a race and almost beat her. So to me, the value will be there with Pass the Champagne, and she's really not that far off from a Malathot or Travel Calm. I guess we don't know, but we'll see. I'll give you a sell, and I think you'll agree with this. So in the Gazelle, search results went from a strong buy to a hard sell in the stretch. Would you agree?
I would agree. I'm selling search results at this point. You're right. This horse kind of like Pass the Champagne a little bit, only it looked a little worse. Turn for home, I thought, she might be getting ready to show herself as something really nice. And boy, tapped on the brakes, no, stomped on the brakes, but still won. So I'll give her that. But yeah, I'm selling her. I wasn't that high on her to begin with. I'm definitely going to sell her after that race. She just did not finish up well there.
Yeah, it was I was like, whoa, hang on. Look at this. This is about to be a performance. And then it's hang on, get to the wire.
Make sure you win.
Yeah, please win. We quickly went from, I'm agree. It's a sell for me, especially considering if there's any ballpark where search results and Pass the Champagne are similar prices, it's hands down Pass the Champagne for me. Clairiere, we talked about Travel Calm, of course. So is it one of those situations some people are saying well, if you Central Quality, you got to highly motivated. So tell me, is it Clairiere for you as well? Are you buy?
The more I watch that replay, I'm going to sell Clairiere. I'm not sure that horse can beat Travel Calm when Travel Calm runs her best. I think she got a dream trip the time she did defeat Travel Calm, and I just think she snuck up on her. I don't know that she's up to that kind of level. So I'm going to cautiously sell Clear Air at this point.
Yeah, dude. Gosh, this is the one that I had the hardest time with. I think it's a sell for me too. Because I kind of feel like if that was the Fairgrounds Oaks was kind of her race to be like, okay, are you for real or not? And Travel Calm kind of put it to her. I mean, she kind of dominated that race, right?
Mm-hmm.
Travel Calm did. And so it would be a little bit surprising for Claire to beat Travel Calm, to beat Malthought, to beat Past the Champ, all of those horses. So I'm going to go a sell, especially considering I'm going to assume the price is going to be fairly low on her because that Fairgrounds Oaks race is probably going to be somewhat productive. The one wild card I had, and we can talk. Some people have been asking about Will's Secret, which just kind of falls into the same category. Pauline's Pearl, the fantasy winner last out. So Will's Secret, Pauline's Pearl. What do you think of that? Let's just group those two together. What do you think?
I'll sell both of them right now. I know Will's Secret kind of showed what she was, I think, in the Ashland. She really wasn't competitive with those two. Pauline's Pearl, I mean, it's a sell for me, but I mean, this horse is decent. I think this horse is getting better.
Yeah, she feels like she's on the up and coming for sure.
Yeah. She's not the worst long shot. Let's put it that way. But in the end, I can't really say buy. I don't think she's quite as good as these top ones.
I'm going to, based on it's going to be all be about the price for her. But if she's like, double digits, Pauline's Pearl is super interesting to me because I just feel like she's shown she's pretty good and she's getting better and she might be peaking at the right time into this race. And if Steve Asmussen in Stone Street Stables goes and wins the Kentucky Oaks, are you going to be like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
I can't believe that happened? Like, no, I mean, of course that could happen. So I'm buying Pauline's Pearl, but with it based off the price. Let's assume the price. I assume the price will be pretty good because it is one of those races that, I mean, you can't bet them all, right? So there's going to be a lot of horses that are going to be some value in this race. Real Dynasty wants to know, Millie Philly, our favorite horse. Is that a bomb underneath?
Not for me.
Yeah, that horse, see you later. I'm done with that horse. So right now, gun to your head, we talked about several here in the Oaks. Who's your pick of the Oaks?
I'll stick with Travel Column.
And again, this can change, everybody. So this is right now. We're 2 weeks out. This can change. Who's your pick right now?
I'll stick with Travel Column for now, but I am a bit worried about Malthought. So I think it's gonna be one of those two. As of right now, I'll go Travel Column.
Yeah, I'm with you. Travel Column is and I'll be honest with you, and we'll get to this in just a second. Like I'm swaying a little bit on Essential Quality, but Travel Calm is very much where I felt with Essential, where it's like I've been on her all year, and I've liked her all year. You know what I mean? And as soon as she won that first race, I'm like, yeah, that's an Oaks horse. And so I'm like, I'm not really. She doesn't like. How can she goes and dominates Fairgrounds Oaks, and I'm gonna jump off of her? So I have a hard time kind of doing that. So I'm with Travel Calm right now, but I'm with you. Malthought seems very, very concerning, and based on the prices. Past the Champagne and Pauline's Pearl for me, but we both like Travel Calm in the Kentucky Oaks. Now let's get to what really, everyone. All right, take your Oaks hat off, take a breath. That's what I tell my boys sometimes. Take a breath for a second. Catch your breath. Let's get to the Kentucky Derby. All right, let's do it. All right, this is of course maybe a big race on the day after the Kentucky Oaks, the Kentucky Derby, and gosh, I mean. Has there been a year that you've been more, excited may not be the right word because it feels like it's harder than hell, but the price potential here, the payout potential here could be astronomical.
Yeah, this is, it's a mess. There's no question, but I do think it's solvable. I hope it is anyway. This is one of the more wide open Derby fields we've had. It's a cluster F. It really is. We stumbled to the end of this thing. Things were looking really, really good, and then boy, did it all kind of fall apart. But I I never really wanted to pick Essential Quality to win the Kentucky Derby, and I'm still in that camp. It's just a matter of who am I going to pick to beat him, and I haven't quite decided that yet.
Well, let's just get started with him, because let's just go back and forth. I know you and I have a few maybe that are the same. We might have different ones, so let's just kind of knock out our lists, so to speak, and just kind of go back and forth. So Essential Quality, obviously, got to talk about him. He's the travel column here. He hasn't lost a race, and frankly, there's no reason he should be the favorite. No matter if you want to play against him or not, he should be the Kentucky Derby favorite. You talk about a year that's kind of fallen apart, so to speak, towards the end. He's held strong. He continues to answer the call every time. But it just seems like, considering what we've seen, he's going to be a low price. And can you really stomach that? So you got to kind of weigh all that in. Buy or sell? Are you a buy or sell on Essential Quality?
I think you 100% have to be a buy. That doesn't mean you have to pick him to win, but I think you just almost have to use him. He's too consistent, and he's done too much that a lot of these other horses haven't done. So he's definitely a buy for me.
Yeah, I mean, he's easily a buy, but I'm with you. I went from. Gosh, I'm on the fence with picking him, to be honest with you, because I just don't know if I can stomach him being, 9-5, 2-1, wherever he is, and 5-2 maybe seems about right. It's just I don't know, I get he should win. He should win because he has done nothing but win. But I'm a buy. I'm on the fence about if I'm picking him on top. All right, you give me a horse.
How about this one? I kind of like this horse more and more each passing day. I am buying Known Agenda right now. The Florida Derby winner. This is a horse that seems to be on the improve, and that is one major positive with him. So what do you think? Buy or sell Known Agenda?
I am 100% a buy on Known Agenda. I can't believe it, because this went from a horse that no one really wanted to claim to in our fantasy league to John and Ryan claim, and then goes and wins the Florida Derby. I get that the Florida Derby class was weak, but he kind of dominated a weak class, and
Yep.
He's kind of shown that he's a legit horse. Pletcher, when he gets one of these horses like this and they get hot at this time, they tend to be pretty good the next race, like in the Kentucky Derby. We've talked about, we need to make this a thing. We need to go get it trademarked. The Pletcher progression. That's what he does. And if he runs that well in the Florida Derby, he's gonna run good again in the Kentucky Derby. I really think that. So I think Known Agenda, gosh, he looks really good on the track. I saw some pictures of him this morning at Churchill Downs. He looks really good. So I'm on a buy of Known Agenda for sure.
Yep.
Let's go to, I know you and I probably both have this horse, but some of these are givens. Rock Your World. But that's an interesting one because, obviously went and won the Cincinnati Derby first time on dirt, but is undefeated, has not lost a race, but first two races were on turf. Comes into the, hard to believe, comes into the Kentucky Derby with the top buyer speed figure, Rock Your World. So, buy or sell on Rock Your World, man. He won the Cincinnati Derby. It seems like he's got all the tools. What do you think?
I know my boy Ryan Stillman absolutely loves Rock Your World. I'm just not there as far as loving him as much as him. Every time I get to him and I'm like, all right, I think I'm going to pick Rock Your World. There's something that says don't do it. Don't do it. The source could be phony. I'm going to buy. It's reluctantly basing off that one dirt effort, which was really, really good. I am just skeptical that he can do that again on the dirt.
Yeah, I've been pretty adamant about this, and this is the one of them that I'm gonna hold true to, and I'm selling Rock Your World. I just, based off of his perceived value in the race is going to be lacking. I feel like a lot of people are going to like this horse considering what he's done and kind of being that new shooter, so to speak. If it depends. Like again, it's all based off pricing, right? If he's 10-1, then yeah, he offers extreme value.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's going to be that. I think he's going to be bet pretty hard. I just have a hard time being like, oh yeah, that turf horse just won the Kentucky Derby. Maybe he's not a turf horse, but why did he start 2 races in a row on the turf? Like, so I just think he beat kind of a weak class in that particular race. You kind of disagree with that statement a little bit. I know that you don't like to go back off of, but I just don't know how good that San Antonio Derby was. He was impressive, but considering the value I think you're going to get, or lack of value, I'm on a sell with Rock Your World.
It's tough. It's tough to. He's one that's going to be a game time decision for me, or at least the week of this. I would love to have that $25 to win at 40-1 on Rock Your World. That's great. That is awesome.
And that's a great example of the value. There is value at 40-1. I am a strong buy if you gave me 40-1 on that horse.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely. But you're probably going to get like 6-1 or 5-1 in the Kentucky Derby. So you got talk about an overlay, right?
And that's where the problem is. Yes. That's where the problem is. Can we bet him at 5-1? Us poor bastards that do not have 40-1 on that horse. So very, very, very nice there. Okay.
And to be clear, like he very well might be a dirt horse who just started on turf. And like he might go and win the Kentucky Derby. And it's like, shit, all of this. I mean, so I'm not going to sit here and say he's an awful horse. I just think based off the value that we're going to see on that Saturday, there's other horses I would rather have.
I agree. Here's one that I would not rather have other than Rock Your World, and that is Highly Motivated. I am selling Highly Motivated. However, I think he is a very good horse, but a couple things. Chad Brown still hasn't even committed to running Highly Motivated in the Derby. I thought that's just a weird thing. Maybe that's just Brown being weird. But the second thing, I truly believe this is a horse that was at his best going a mile 16th. I don't know about the 1.25 miles for Highly Motivated. So I am going to, at this time, sell Highly Motivated. Jared?
I know you know how much this pains me because this is a horse I love and the horse that's on my fantasy team. But up until like a week ago, I was kind of thinking sneakily like maybe Highly Motivated is a horse I like in the Derby, but I'm a sell. Today was like the big one for me because I was like, he's not even convinced. Like Chad's like, I'm either going to run him or crowded, whatever the horse is called. It's a horse I don't even know the name. It's like if you don't know at this point, you're only going to run one horse, and you kind of decide between the two of them. Crowded trade.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign. That's not like you obviously, and maybe like you say, maybe that's Brown being Brown, but I kind of felt like everything went perfect for him in that race in the Bluegrass, and he still lost. I know he changed leads, and he probably should have won. But trying to think, and I know this is his first time going 2 turns, but he's going to have to improve, not drastically, but a decent amount in order to do that. Again, he's not going to get that easy of a lead, so you got to know that. I'm a sell. I do think he's super talented, and I hate to say it, but I just think I'm a wait and see for him. Like if he goes out and runs, I think he's like mid-pack in this race.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. I don't know. Nick said, "Is it? You don't think it's trainer tactics?" I mean, maybe, but I don't know why they would do that.
Yeah, he's an into mischief. And Nakia Towery says, I'm all over Highly Motivated. He got pressed by the champ. He don't want the lead. And that's fair. He doesn't. I mean, like we talked about that race in a lot of depth. Like no one wanted the lead, so to speak, in that race. No one was fast enough to go, and he went. I definitely think he's like, that's the thing. Like what do you think you're going to get? Like say, assuming he Highly Motivated runs. I mean, you obviously have him ranked 4th overall. If he runs, what kind of price do you think he's going to be?
Like 10 or 12-1 would be my guess. I think he's like low double digits.
Yeah, that's probably right. I mean, anything north of that is fair probably on him. So I don't hate you for or doubt you if you want to play him. I would rather have him. I don't like, to me in my mind, it's like, what are you debating? It's him. It's not crowded trade. It's him. So the fact that he's saying that, it seems weird. But I do think he's a horse that doesn't need the lead. Like, he's not going to have to go to the lead. So I just don't know if he's fast enough to track them down at the end of this race, because there's a horse that I really like that I'm starting to move forward on my win pick that may not want to give it up. All right, Halterman, you go next.
Medina,
no, you did highly motivated, but we'll do Medina Spirit. Okay.
Yeah, Medina Spirit, it's a sell for me.
Yeah, that's a hard sell.
Yeah.
I've never liked that horse, and so I'll be honest. If you like him, great, but I've just never liked him, and for me, I can't, especially off of the Sandy Derby, I can't get on him now. So
yeah,
because you also got to think, and let's just jump right to his stablemate, and we still don't even know if he's going to run. He's kind of fallen into the camp with highly motivated at this point. And that's Concert Tour, who finished. Concert Tour went from being the probably most likely 8-5 to be the favorite of the Kentucky Derby to, is he going to run, and is he going to be like 8-1? And so that's where we're at with Concert Tour. The latest I saw was Baffert was like, he did ship him, but he did say all along he was going to ship his horses to Churchill Downs. Going to see how he works. He's on the fence. So he's going to see how he works, and if he works well, he'll run him. So that's where that's at. But Concert Tour. So buy or sell. Let's just, obviously for this sake, let's assume he's in. Buy or sell.
I mean, this is the hardest one, right? I'm going to say buy. Here's why. I'm not going to pick this horse to win, but I do think I am going to end up using him. It's just weird to me that Rosario stays on this horse. I mean, it's incredible. I don't get it. I'm so dumbfounded by it. And I just have to think Baffert has talked so highly about this horse that something happened in Arkansas to him. Something unexplainable happened. We know he can run better than a 92 buyer, which is what Superstock got. Whatever happened there. I think Baffert gets it figured out. And I think here's the kicker. If Baffert doesn't get it figured out, he won't be in the race. Yeah. So I think with a guy like Baffert, the good thing about him, he doesn't just throw him in there to throw him in there. So I think if he enters, Baffert feels pretty good about it, and that's good enough for me to throw him on a ticket.
Naki says, Jared, you're going to run first in the Derby with motivated your first round. I hope you're right. I would definitely, there will be no tickets where he's left off because of that, because he's true to my heart. So I'll be happy, but in a couple of ways. But to Concert Tour's point, I'm with you. Like, if he's in it, he's a contender, because Baffert's not going to run him. I do think if he runs him, like, there's no doubt in my mind, send him. He's going. He's going. That's the pace. Like, if Concert Tour's in the race, he's the pace. Like, Baffert's not going to fuck around with him. He's the pace. So I just don't think he's going to mess around with trying to not get the lead, or maybe, he'll be right there on it. If he's not on it, he'll be right there. So if he's in it, like, he's like one that I'm a sell on right now. But if Baffert, if he has a good work, if Baffert's like, I'm in, then I'm like, okay, so am I. Because Baffert, and he'll have the good stuff, So if he's in it, I'm in it too. That's kind of where I'm at with Concert Tour.
Yeah. Is it me? Is it my turn now?
No, I have one that we need to get to.
Okay.
And I know a few people have talked about this horse. By the way, everyone, just like, it's just blow. I can't even keep up with the chat of what people want to talk about. Hot Rod, my other horse, Hot Rod Charlie, of course, winner of the Louisiana Derby last out. And it's funny, it's so funny because you kind of thought, like, after he won, it's like, he's going to get overlooked in the Derby because all this other stuff's going to happen between then and, Concert Tour and Essential Quality and all that. And it's like, all of a sudden, Hot Rod's kind of becoming the horse that you want to play. He's going to be low price. He's going to be 6-1 in the race. And so based off of that, but Hot Rod, man, where are you at on Hot Rod right now?
Got to buy him at this point. Got to buy him. I mean, he ran that race in Louisiana, and I thought, all right, he's something. He's got talent, and he's going to be overlooked. And then all of a sudden, everybody sucked in front of him. So it hurts his price, but it helps his chances of winning. That nobody else really ran worth a damn after him. He has the second highest buyer in the whole crop. He's ran a higher buyer than the favorite in the race. Listen, third off the layoff for Hot Rod as well. I'm all about it. I really think Hot Rod Charlie is a buy here, and I'm considering him. I mean, he's a win candidate for me.
Guys, I'm so close. He's almost my win pick. Like, I love this horse.
Yeah.
And I get like you're like, oh, I ask Allspring. I was like, this horse was like, whatever. I don't care about this horse.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely was not like a Hot Rod fan. I was glad he won, obviously, but he just continues to improve, and you watch this horse work. Holy shit, this horse works well. And by the way, I mean, say what you want about Doug O'Neill, he's won the Derby twice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is like, it's not like it's just like some random trainer. Like, he knows how to win this race. The horse is coming into this race maybe better than anyone in the race. His latest work was unbelievable. He keeps working great. He's not going to have an issue with the distance. I mean, he just won going the Preakness distance. I'll say this, even I would be fairly surprised if he doesn't win one of the Triple Crown races. He just seems like a horse that's going to emerge in one of these big races. I'd be shocked if he doesn't hit the board in any of these races. So I think he's coming to this race better than anybody. He's very much a buy for me.
I agree with this comment right here, Preakness. I think he's going to be ultra tough in that race, and I think he'll be tough in the Derby too. I'm with you. Listen, how
about this? No, sorry. How about this? The fact that we got to talk about. I'll rewind. You and I on the rail at Keeneland in the fall. Central Quality does his thing. We like Jackie's Warrior that day, but we won't talk about that. Central Quality does his thing. We're like, who the fuck is that horse? Who's coming? Like, who is that? He's good. Hot Rod Charlie. He's like Oxbow. Of course, we freaking out about Oxbow.
Yeah.
Like 90-something to 1. And what are the odds that we fast forward to the first Saturday of May, and these two horses not only might be the exacta in the Kentucky Derby, but they're going to go off like very closely the top two choices, but top 3 or 4 choices in the, like, that's just unbelievable to think about that.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible that these two could do it. You just don't see that. And it's like I said, when a 92-1 does something in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, they usually never do something ever again. Like Storm the Court. That's what they usually do. A New Door was second. They did nothing. And then this horse, has held it together really well. Listen, the first race of his career, our first race of his this season, it wasn't awful. He fought it, and then he just improved so much next out. If there's any improvement in this horse again, he's going to win. Now, that's just the thing. So he's on the up and up for me, no doubt. This is a funny comment. Nick's go. So at like 70-1, he hits the board. You would have thought
I know, right?
He was going to follow that path of what we talked about, never to do anything again. Got the Magic Man as a trainer, and then the rest was history. So
the other Magic Man.
Right, yes, correct.
There's several. All right, let's go to one, because I'm going to do this for you. Same comment, same person. I'm going to try to find it, but I know that you want to talk about this, Vinny. There you go. Is it Soup and Sandwich time yet? It is. Soup and Sandwich. That's a horse that's on my list, because all you got to do is look at Twitter, and this is like the My Boy Jack of this year. I mean, everyone's talking about this horse. It's like to me, he's going to be a huge underlay. Probably he should be. Soup and Sandwich finished second in the Florida Derby to Known Agenda. Of course, this was a horse that was that was a big start for him, and he ran well. Soup and Sandwich for Cassie. What do you think?
I just can't get behind him. I got to sell him. I just can't do it. I like him, and I think he proved a lot in that last race, but I don't know that he's ready to win the Derby. So I'm selling Soup and Sandwich.
Vinny wants to know, can he be an underlay at 15-1? No, maybe not. That's fair. No, I mean, I think you'll get 15-1 easily. No doubt. He'll be overbet though, is the thing. Plus he's got a cool name or a dumb name, however you want to look at that. And people are going to want to bet that in the Kentucky Derby as well. To me, he's an also ran for me. Maybe I'll play a try, obviously, supers. He's a third, fourth for me for sure. I think you key him there for me. But listen, it was a great claim because I didn't even think he'd be in the conversation, right? Definitely didn't think he'd be in the Kentucky Derby, let alone the conversation. Like when you guys claimed that horse, Super Sandwich, Real Dynasty in the fantasy league, I was like, okay. Well, that was a 20-point waste. So yeah, I mean, I just don't think I think it's a little too much for him. This strikes me as a horse. It's like, well, we have the points, we're going to run.
If he would have won the Florida Derby,
different conversation.
Yeah, but he got past pretty easily there at the last. But I don't hate him. It's just I just have a hard time envisioning him doing much. All right,
Halterman, what do you got?
I got a real good one for you. It's the winner of our home tracks race, Super Stock. This is a hard 100% sell for me. But how about you? I want to know.
Oh, he is a race of his life at the old track called Oaklawn Park. Yeah, it's a sell. It's a sell. I mean, I was so happy for them. It was cool that it happened, but if this horse hits the board again, I will be shocked.
Yeah, same.
super shocked, not super shocked. But no, I just don't. I mean, it's a good story, and if there's a horse that I'm rooting for that I'm going to be adamantly against on all my bets and on my analysis or whatever, that's the one horse, right? Because that's just a cool story, obviously, for his parents, and just be cool for them to have a home, the horse that they all have together. But yeah, he's a hard sell for me. You got to think people are going to play based off he won the Derby, but also, if it's a pace meltdown, that horse will be coming. It's like these horses were like falling over. I don't know if you have this horse, and this is how about this? Because I'll throw in, I have Mandaloon for my other one, my wild card, but we'll throw in the other Cox horses, which is Caddo River. The last I heard, Caddo might just go to the Preakness. Preakness, but let's say they both run. Mandaloon's definitely running. Where do you stand, buy or sell on the other Cox horses?
I'm gonna sell them. I went back and forth on Mandaloon, but I don't know. I just think I don't think you can run well here after what Mandaloon did. I mean, well enough. I think he'll bounce back. I think he'll run better. I don't think he's quite good enough to win it. So I'm gonna sell. Caddo River is a 1,000% a sell in this race for me if he's there, and then Mandaloon. It's not 1,000% sell, but it's pretty high. I'm selling both of them.
Yeah, Amanda who? No, I mean, I've been okay. That I want to get to that one in a second on Dynamic One. I didn't have. We were going to talk about all these horses, but you guys keep bringing up horses, so we got to talk about them. Mandaloon is. I'm with you, man. He's like, I went from total toss to, gosh, he's going to be too much toss to where he's going to be offer some value. And it was almost like, a lot of time I'm a big believer in like that race was so bad to believe that it's got to be better than that. It's kind of like highly motivated in the Gotham where you're like, he's better than that. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I felt with him. How I feel about him in Louisiana Derby. It's just like, God, I mean, he was like a top horse, and then he does that, and now all of a sudden you forget about him. So I'm on the fence with Mandaloon, but here's an interesting from DRF, Marty McGee. He had this analysis where he said it's a long time since the Derby winner was fifth or worse in their final prep. That was Needles in 1956. So that's Marty McGee. So the last time a horse was fifth or worse in their final prep was 1956. So on a win candidate, that's enough history for me to be like, no, pass. But underneath, sure. And Cattle River, I've never liked Cattle River, and so it's a hard no for me. Hard pass, hard sell.
Yeah, I don't know. Mandaloon. Here's the problem with him. If the other preps would have went like we kind of thought they would, he would be 20 or 30 to 1. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, probably more like 30 to 1. You're like, yeah, okay, we can play that. But when everybody sucks so bad, you go back around and you're like, oh, okay, Mandaloon, maybe I can play him. Maybe there's something wrong there. And then all of a sudden he's 12 or 15 to 1, and that's just not what you want.
Yeah, do you have that's all I have on my list. So I wanted to get to Dynamic One, but do you have any other ones?
Nope, I have nothing.
All right, so let's get to Dynamic One. This is a horse who finished second in the Wood. Of course, that massive Wood payout for Todd Pletcher, Bourbononic, and Dynamic One. So what do you kind of make of either one of these horses? Because, I mean, everyone's going to be talking about No Agenda for good reason, Todd Pletcher. And it's funny, too. Todd Pletcher has 4 in the race. If Sainthood runs, which I think he's going to. 4 in the race. When not so long ago, we're like, man, Todd's got no one. You know, like he's like, so 4 in the race. Is there any other Pletcher? You can throw in Bourbononic, whatever you want, however the hell that you pronounce that horse. Is there, do you throw any other like if that horse wins, you're gonna be pumped, you're gonna be pissed?
No.
So it's no agenda or none for you.
Yeah. I will be absolutely shocked, shrug the shoulders, and say, well, I never could have played that horse ever. If the other 3 Pletchers do anything. I don't like any of them.
I'm definitely pro. I like Dynamic One. I like them both, really, from a standpoint of underneath, and that's just me. I just feel like I'm kind of on the same boat with No Agenda. When he seems like he gets one of these right, they tend to run. And of course, we talked about Danza earlier, and Danza ran another good race in the Kentucky Derby. And so, yeah, you kind of think maybe one of these horses runs one more good race before he's kind of done. And so, yeah, I think if you had to pick a horse underneath at a huge price, like Dynamic One, since he was second in a shitty Wood, or even Bourbononic would be a big price, I wouldn't care to have either one of those on my underneath. But on the top winning contender, he's a sell.
Yeah, I just don't see how they're gonna get there. I mean, it's too much of an improvement and too big of a stage. I just don't see it.
Boy, guys, thank you so much. I mean, gosh, you guys. Let's see. I'm reading this as I go. So
here we go.
If it's hey guys, lots of speed, lots of closers. The draw is going to be interesting, huh? What are your worst gates that pace setters and closers can get?
Well, in general, you don't want to be inside, no matter what kind of horse you are, because then it's you break or you're dead, kind of. So I would not want to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if I was a pace setter, unless I had the speed of all the other speeds, like if I was the fastest one in the gate or in the race, maybe the outside, 18, 19, 20 is not so bad. But if I'm kind of that stalker, I may go to the lead, I may sit off. I wouldn't want to be way to the outside either. So I think you're either the extreme inside and the extreme outside are the 2 worst for that. It
would be kind of not, you never root for it, but in this case, you might root for like a concert tour or something drawing the rail just to kind of like cross that horse out. So you don't have to worry about like one of these horses. It might help reduce your win contenders. If one of them draws the rail. This is one of those years you might hope for it, unless it's your horse. Ryan, our boy Ryan, says buy or sell bonus. The Oaks favorite more likely to win the Oaks than the Derby favorite. That's a good question.
Yeah.
So the Oaks favorite more likely to win the Oaks than the Derby favorite is likely to win the Derby. So for this case, you can say Travel Calm. Is she more likely to win versus Essential Quality, which we know will be the Derby favorite? Go. I mean, that's a great question, Ryan. I'm going to say, gosh, I'd say yes, but that's tough. That's tight.
I think the Oaks is more likely to have the favorite win than the Derby. Yeah. So I would go yes to the Oaks.
Unless, well, I mean, even if it's, would you say that even if it's Malthot for sure too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't. I think Malthot and Travel Column have a better chance to win that race, no matter who the favorite is, than Essential Quality in the Derby.
to be fair, I do think obviously there's a ton more of that essential quality in this case has to beat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In order to, whereas it kind of feels like it's, we're talking about a handful of horses. We're trying to decide who to pick. Where it's like, well, I like Mouththought or I like Tropical Calm.
Yep.
That's it. So it seems like that's kind of the top. You and I are both on that. So I would definitely go Oaks, but that's an interesting way to ask that question because
mm-hmm.
who would have? Because Essential might be a lower price, right? Do you think so? I don't know. The Derby favorite is. I always go back to we got 5-2 on was it 5-2 or 3-1 on AP?
Yeah, they both 5-2 on Justify and American Pharoah. Yeah,
and so you got to put that into perspective, right? Those kind of horses is what we got those prices on. So is Essential Quality actually going to be 5-2? I tend to lean more like 3-1 on Essential, whereas Travel Calm, I guess Travel Calm might be a little bit lower than that. Might be 5-2, 2-1, something like that. But whoever is a favorite of the Oaks, you do feel like is going to be below 3-1. So I would say that.
Okay. Yeah. Here's a couple people are talking about the gate situation. Yeah, it is a brand new gate, so that's going to help immensely. So people are like, oh, this post draw is going to be huge. It still is because it's still 20 horses, but the gate will help things a lot. So that's good. And to this point, Essential gets the rail. What happens? The rail doesn't run right. The one hole doesn't run right smack dab into the rail anymore. They've improved that. So while it's not good at all, it's not a death sentence like it used to be.
It definitely feels like if there was a time to finally break that streak, it's now with the new gate. But you definitely don't want it until someone does it. No. You don't want it. Manu says 89 buyers. Yeah, I get it for Dynamic One. He was bad. All I'm saying is maybe it's part of me that it was so ingrained on me to not let Pletcher beat me in these big races. It's just like, I've got it, I would just feel really sick, and I've just kind of stayed on that. Whereas, we cashed one of the biggest, our biggest trifecta of our lives a couple of years ago in the Derby, and it was because we held true to some of the horses that maybe sound stupid, but we hit it anyway. So sometimes you got to do that, and you just got to get lucky. So it's the Derby. So again, we'll be back, of course, we are 2 weeks out from the Oaks. So Halter and I will be there, but we will definitely be have tons of coverage between us, between Ricky, Samich, Magic, of course. Maybe we can get Slim on here at some point. Talk a little Kentucky Derby. I did hear a little rumor that Slim is going to have some content coming out soon on the Derby, so he might be coming out of retirement a little bit for that. But you'll get tons of content from us coming up, and of course our opinions might sway one way or another. Of course. Seems like every day the Derby is changing. It's like, oh, that horse is out. That horse is out. That horse is out. Is there any horse? I know you talked a little bit about it. King Fury, is that your horse that you really want to draw in because that's the horse that you think it could make? I heard you say that on the Magic Mike show. Yeah,
I do like King Fury a little bit. I would say out of the ones that are still like on the outside looking in, he would be one. Just real quick, he is, as I pull it up, he's now up to 25th, so he still needs some help. A couple people mentioning Obesos in the chat. He's at 22. He definitely is a horse that has a lot of hype. But he needs 2 more defections to kind of get in. But for me, I think King Fury would be interesting. I really don't think he's going to get enough. I think he's going to fall just short of the field, and then we'll see him in the Preakness. But keep an eye on it for the next couple of weeks. I guess for the rest of this week and next to see that horses that kind of fall out. But right now, Hidden Stash, the last horse in at number 20, Dream Shake 21, and Obesos right there at 22.
Well, there you go. So there you go. There's our buy sell for the Kentucky Derby 2 weeks out. Oh man, you guys are awesome.
Yep.
And here's I'll pull it down here somewhere. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, really, I think at this point, Dream Shake will probably get in, and because Caddo River is still up there and ranked. So Dream Shake's in. And then if Brown really does just run one horse, highly motivated or crowded trade, well, that's going to eliminate one of those. And then Obesos is going to get in. And then it's just going to be a matter of, does a horse drop out because they're not training well or they get injured? And that's where, the rest of them will come in. But I would suspect Dream Shake and Obesos will be in the field if you guys are interested in either one of those.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like a very fluid situation at this point.
It is, yeah. And again, it's Rombauer. I should throw him out there. Oh, here you go. Wow, I say Rombauer, and then this comment comes. Listen, he's on my team. I don't love him, but they've said Preakness and Belmont are kind of what they're shooting for him. So that's another one that could fall out, and then get her number at 23 would be in if they would want to run him in that race, which I'm guessing they would. So these horses that are on the screen right now that are ranked down there low, don't forget about them. They still have a shot to get in.
Yeah. Kevin, Mike Smith, of course, again, Mike Smith, Hall of Fame jockey. Great to have you on. I'm selling, this guy's obviously against anyone that's, so against Concerture at this point. Yeah. And I think that's fair because and John, even, John White, good friend of the show, good friend of ours. He made point of that in his latest column where it's like, yeah, I mean, again, it was bad, but it was like, I think the reaction has been too harsh off of that, Yeah. So I agree. Like he offers value now for sure. And again, like we said earlier, if he runs him, like I'm totally like maybe 60-40. He runs him maybe higher, 70-30. I'll go there. If he runs him, he's a legit shot because he's not going to run him unless he thinks he's going to win. So.
Yep. I agree. He definitely, I'm not, I don't know how you could watch the Arkansas Derby and still be just as high on him. But at the same time, I agree. I don't know how you could have been over the moon about him and then jump off just because of one race.
No.
The biggest problem is it's Baffert. If this was not a Baffert horse, I would be like, forget him. So, and again, I'm not going to pick this horse to win. He needed to show an improvement from his speed figure, and he didn't. And so that is what it is.
Yep. And it's like, Haltran was looking for not only for him to win, but for him to go throw out maybe a triple-digit buyer or something impressive. Not only did he not win, he barely held on for third. I mean, this horse is close to not even being on the bubble for points. So it's like I get it. If he's I'll just say that if he's in the race, he's a contender for me in every aspect, but he won't be my pick to win. But I will not let Tough Luck Bob beat me.
I really want to know why. I don't know if I really want to know this, but I tell us why you're higher on him now after that race. Maybe
logically speaking.
Yes, maybe you can say something that a lot of people could take from this. Oh, here we go. The main reason Cattle River is now out, and now we know Baffert will send him to the lead. That's a bad reason. I don't agree with that at all. Cattle River is not some monster that ran him into the ground. If he had trouble with Cattle River, it's not going to be good.
No. I definitely don't. I have no issues. Like if you liked him before, if you liked him before, like him now, that's fine. I think I think there's no doubt about it. If he runs him in the race, Baffert's going to not fuck around. He's going to send him.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
But he's going to have horses better than Caddo River out there running with him, I'm afraid.
We're going to see. It wouldn't be the first time. It's kind of like Authentic winning last year, right? Where you're just like, really? You forgot him. You disregarded him, and then he does that. So it's one of those things at this stage in the game with Baffert where you're just like, if he's in the race, I'm playing him. I'm not going to let him beat me. You can't.
I think that's an interesting point. That one is better than, okay, Caddo's out. I think they did learn the horse needs to be in front, So that's fair. I agree with that one.
Yeah, no, I agree. Dynasty said, I agree with you completely. Authentic won the Haskell.
Yeah.
3 weeks off a loss. Yeah, and I agree completely.
Yeah, and Authentic, had a longer, that comment's accurate. I won't go any further than that.
All right, we got. Well, if you guys have any pressing questions, we'll answer them in the closing here. 3, 2, 1. It's all the time we have to check out racingnews.com for our free picks and our premium selections on our handicap products page. Click the products link at the main menu at racingnews.com. Learn more and click that big ass button on the menu there. It says Get Racing Dudes Premium. Go check it out at racingdudes.com because you're gonna want to go over there and go to the products page. So 2021 Kentucky Derby Wagering Guide preset will begin soon. We're just a couple weeks out, so of course you'll be seeing that probably the next couple days. Subscribe to Racing Dudes Premium. It's a great time to get it because if you subscribe to Racing Dudes Premium, anytime you're a subscriber to Racing Dudes Premium, you'll get any wagering guide we do for free. So it's a great time to be a subscriber because if you do it now, you'll get the Derby and the Preakness wagering guides for free. Those are each $40, so it's $80 value. Subscribe for $70 for the month. Boom, you save $10. So why not go to racingdudes.com, go to the premium, get the $70 option if that's all you want, and you'll get those guides included absolutely for free. Racingdudes.com is your destination site. Hey there, Clay. Go Warrior. Thanks for tuning in, Clay. Yeah, go Warrior. Hey, we're fanboys at True, so we're gonna hope he wins. Clay, if you're still watching, give the people watching this something, off that what we've seen the last two, something to like, okay, that's a reason to why he might have a shot here in the Oaklawn Handicap. Remember, go to racingnews.com, our destination site for all free horse racing picks and racing tracks across America. We're on Twitter at RaceHorseDudes, Instagram and Facebook. You're going to want to check us out on all our social media accounts because we are tweeting, we are messaging, we are everything for the Kentucky Derby. We have pictures out there. So if you want to know and stay alerted to these scratches, pictures working out, or photos of them working out, go to and follow us on Twitter at racing_dudes, Instagram and Facebook. Clay says, go to the front and leave them. All right. Go to the front. I hope he does, man. We love this horse. You can listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, even a website at racingdudes.com. Remember, go check out the Magic Mike show. They did the late pick 4 at Oaklawn. So obviously a good card there. So go check them out to get more analysis of especially of the Apple Blossom. Mm-hmm. And I guess is the Oaklawn Handicap? It's the first leg, right? Of the pick 4.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So you get both of those in there. So go see what their thoughts are on that. Clay, any thoughts on if he runs well? Where are you looking at after the Oaklawn meet? Any other thoughts, everyone, as we close this up? It's been a hell of a show. Long show, but gosh, I don't know how it could have been a shorter one because we just have
too many questions.
Been rolling with the questions. No clue.
No clue. There you go. That's what people are tuning in for right there.
That's what they want to know, Clay. Clay, are you riding? Are you going to ride the horse on Saturday? Any chance of that? Halterman, did you watch WrestleMania?
Of course. Yes.
How was it?
It was good. WrestleMania was very good. Very good show. A little too much filler. I don't like the 2 nights. I think there's too much. They try to do too much. But the main event was good. I enjoyed the Fiend versus Randy Orton. I thought that was kind of cool. Some of the stuff they did there. The main event on the first night was pretty good as well. So overall it was good. It was kind of cool to see it in a big stadium and people there. So that was fun.
All right. I think that's all I have. So this is, again, I haven't talked to Halterman about this, but I think it's going to be like, there's going to be something. We're going to do like the live stuff we did at the actual event, but there's going to be stuff Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, all leading up. Of course, the week. We're going to have a ton of content. So this is your site. This is where you want to go for all the information. We will not bullshit on our analysis, and we'll also have the information that you guys want to know as far as what's going on. So make sure you check us out and stay tuned. Gosh, I'm done. I'm officially done. We've talked for 2 hours about Derby and Oaks, and we've got 2 weeks left. So, all right. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Good luck this weekend, and we will see you next week to talk more Derby. Thanks, guys.